coming up at Live at 6, a new mayoral candidate enters the race for Syracuse.
And tomorrow night, the candidates for New York's 22nd Congressional District face off at the Newhouse School. I'll have the latest on the battleground race when News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
3, 2, 1, it's on you.
Welcome into News Live at 6, everyone. I'm Max Williams.
And I'm Jake Morrell.
Deputy Mayor of Syracuse Sharon Owens is announcing her campaign for mayor. She joins Director of Community Engagement at the Syracuse Police Department, Jimmy Oliver, in the race. Current Mayor Ben Walsh will hit his term limit at the end of the 2025 year. A press conference began just 30 minutes ago. Our reporter Ben Bazik starts us off tonight. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, standing behind me is Sharon Owens, the current deputy mayor in the city of Syracuse, announcing her campaign for when, like you said, Ben Walsh ends in 2025. Now, she really mentioned the location of where we're at. Right behind her is the last standing church, last standing building of the former 15th Ward. And on our left side here is I-81, something she's focused a lot in her various roles and capacities through the administration, chairing the Blueprint 15 Foundation and working in housing and urban development ever since she joined Walsh's administration back in January of 2018, serving in different capacities since then, now serving as deputy mayor, where she is the acting chief of staff in charge of the police department. She mentioned earlier that her daughter left Syracuse because she did not see a future here. And her campaign slogan is maximizing the moment, obviously referencing Micron and all the big changes coming to here in central New York. She's extremely focused on the community. We talked to a lot of impassioned members right behind us, all hugging and cheering. It's an incredible time, and it's definitely interesting to see those two other candidates joining her in the race as Democrats as well. But that's all for me. Back to you guys in studio.
Ben, thank you. That lapel pin is looking good. Well, this past weekend, Orange families were reunited. The Syracuse Annual Parents Weekend hosted many events for students and parents across campus. Our Olivia Rodriguez has a recap of the weekend. Olivia?
Thanks, Jake. Syracuse's annual Parents Weekend is a time for families to learn more about campus and the opportunities available to students. With every home college on campus hosting different events for students and their families, there was no shortage of ways to get involved with the campus community.
The panel Q&A, interesting to hear different answers from different faculty members and staff members on the team here. I know we had people from the CDC, we had people from study abroad, so I'm sure it was great for parents and students to really ask those questions and delve deeper into topics that they're more interested in.
This weekend's sunny weather was perfect for events like Q's on the Quad, an outdoor event featuring lawn games, food trucks, autographs from Syracuse athletes, and a live performance by the marching band. Culminating in the Orange defeating Holy Cross Crusaders in the Dome, students were given the opportunity to show off all of the amazing events that Parents Weekend had to offer.
I'm around, I got to show my dorm, campus, we got to see the football game, soccer, just basically showing them what kind of things just typical students do on campus.
With a weekend filled with love, laughter, and school spirit, this year's Parents Weekend is sure to be one to remember. Jake and Max, back to you.
Olivia, thank you. SU Next Gen Service Corps held a blood drive in the Shine Student Center today. People who donate blood receive a t-shirt and a $15 gift card from a vendor of their choice. Volunteer Aaron King explains how this is especially important for those who may have experienced natural disasters or need emergency transfusion.
And the CNY Housing Fair held its annual run, the Red Line 5K run, this past weekend. The path of the marathon takes place across the infamous Red Line that segregated the city of Syracuse for years. Director of CNY Fair Housing, Sally Santilio, says that she hopes participants will understand the impact of the roads they were running on.
One volunteer, also an SU student, Tommy De Silva, shares why they think it's important that Syracuse students be involved in events like these.
And I think it's important that we remain educated on these types of things going on and support the Syracuse community as they're going through this period of transition while we're here at Syracuse University.
And good news for summer enthusiasts like myself, Max. Winter weather is expected to be warmer than normal this year. According to the National Oceanographic, that's a tough word, and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA, upstate New York will likely experience temperatures that are 1 to 2 degrees higher. Precipitation is also expected to be above normal, and with the warmer temperatures, this means more rainfall and less snow. Additionally, 8 of the past 10 winters have had less snow than normal levels. Kind of makes you think that that might be the new normal level for snow.
I know, that would be insane.
I'm not an oceanographer. I think I got it. But speaking of weather, our Isabella Galan is in studio. Isabella?
Thanks, Mac and Jake. So looking at today's weather, it was absolutely beautiful, surprisingly. I was expecting a lot of clouds earlier this morning, and it was supposed to be cloudy throughout most of the day. However, it went up to 73 degrees and mostly sunny skies, which was absolutely beautiful. And with that 59% humidity, it felt a little bit warmer than we thought, which was absolutely beautiful. And looking across the region, all of the temperatures are pretty uniform. We're seeing 78 degrees in Syracuse, which is the highest around the region, the lowest only being 71 in Penn Yan. So all of the temperatures are staying in that nice 70-degree area. Now, looking across tonight in Syracuse, it'll be about 63 degrees, definitely a little bit more cloudy. Tonight, continuous cloud coverage, but like we expected today with more clouds, it might end up not being that way and might end up being a little bit clearer of skies than we thought. I'll be back with your 5-day forecast a little bit later, but for now, back to you guys.
Isabella, thank you so much. A Schuyler County justice resigned after being notified that he was under investigation for attending the January 6 rally. Donald Spaccio submitted his letter on September 4th, according to a news release from the State Commission on Judicial Conduct on Friday.
Spaccio is being investigated for his attendance at the January 6 rally, as well as an incident where he was accused of yelling at police and invoking his office when officers asked to remove a propane cannon from the roof of his building. Spaccio agreed to never hold a judicial office at any point in the future until when he officially leaves office on October 7th. And happening tomorrow, the candidates for the 22nd Congressional District face off in a debate at the Newhouse School.
Yeah, and it's close to the public, but our political anchor Luke Radel will be in the room for us. He's here tonight to break down the latest in the toss-up race. Hey, Luke.
Hey, guys. Ahead of that first debate, you might have seen some TV ads from this guy, Democrat John Mannion. Take a look.
Here are the facts about Brandon Williams on abortion. Williams called overturning Roe v. Wade a monumental victory. He's part of a MAGA extremist group that proposed a national ban on abortion, with no exceptions for rape, incest, or to save a woman's life. He even voted to send doctors who provide life-saving care to prison. Brandon Williams is a MAGA extremist trying to ban abortion in New York.
I'm John Mannion, and I approve this message.
So there's a lot to cover there. I want to take the next 90 seconds to review 5 claims that are made in that ad. Claim number 1, the ad says that Brandon Williams celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and that's true. He called it a, quote, monumental victory in June of 2022, but also said that the issue should be, quote, sent back to the states, which connects to claim number 2. On-screen graphics in the ad say that Williams has, quote, proposed a national ban on abortion. That's false. He's opposed to a federal ban on abortion, but if you listen to the ad, they say something slightly different. The group that he is, quote, a part of has proposed a national ban on abortion, and that is true. It's the Republican Study Committee, which supports some federal restrictions. But just because you're part of a group doesn't mean that you support everything that group stands for. For example, John Mannion is endorsed by the Working Families Party, which supports defunding the police. So using his own ad's logic, you could say that Mannion's part of a left-wing extremist group that supports defunding the police. But to say that Mannion has proposed that would be false. Claim number 3, on-screen graphics in the ad say that Brandon Williams wants, quote, no exceptions for rape, incest, or a woman's life. That's false. He has said that he supports those exceptions. Claim number 4, if you listen to the ad, it says that Williams voted to send doctors who provide life-saving care to prison. But that's false. The bill, H.R. 26, would actually do the opposite. It only applies to doctors who don't provide life-saving care in the rare instances when an infant survives an attempted abortion. And finally, claim number 5, the ad labels Williams, quote, a MAGA extremist who is trying to ban abortion in New York. And that claim, it's subjective opinion. It's up to you to decide, after looking at the facts and maybe watching tomorrow night's debate, which candidate supports the things that you believe in. That's all the time I have for now. Guys, sending it back over to you.
Luke, a lot to unpack there. Thank you. Well, County Executive Ryan McMahon announced the Rosamond Gifford Zoo renewed its accreditation from the Associations of Zoos and Aquariums. The designation recognizes the zoo's commitment to animal welfare, conservation, and education. The Rosamond Gifford Zoo has been continuously accredited since 1987 and has been contributing to the association's mission of saving wildlife.
And the New York State Department of Transportation is alerting drivers about overnight closures impacting parts of I-81 southbound starting this evening. Exit 17 to exit 78 will be closed from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The closure is to facilitate the setting of steel for the new East Glen Avenue Bridge and part of the Interstate I-81 viaduct project.
And an armed robbery happened at a mobile gas station on Route 31 in Bridgeport this weekend. An eyewitness told the police that a man entered the store armed with a handgun and stole money and personal items from the store employee. The suspect hit the employee in the back of the head with a handgun and then fled the store. The investigation is still ongoing.
The owners of the Bull and Bear Roadhouse announced that they are selling the Liverpool location due to the anticipated arrival of Micron. They announced that they are selling both the restaurant and the building on social media in a post saying, quote, "This isn't goodbye, just a new beginning." The current restaurant is located about 6 miles from the Micron site. Currently, the chain's East Syracuse and Fayetteville locations will continue to operate as normal.
Max, are you detailed, accountable, relentless, tough? That's Fran Brown saying. And a documentary featuring the Syracuse football head coach has now been released. The film is called It Starts With Us, and it's a collaborative effort between PanCam Pictures and local company Split 14 Creative. The documentary features Brown's upbringing and passion for making an impact in the Syracuse community. The documentary can be found on the YouTube channel PanCam Pictures.
Sounds awesome. I'll have to watch it. All right, coming up, we have what you should expect for the vice presidential debate tomorrow with Tim Walz and J.D. Vance.
And dock workers are likely to go on strike tomorrow. How President Biden is responding. Stay with us.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
we've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at WeSaySaveIt.org.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Jake Morrell, Max Williams, and Isabella Galan. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. Jake Morrell alongside Max Williams. The vice presidential candidates, Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, are set to hold their only debate on Tuesday at 9 p.m. in New York City. The debate serves as an opportunity to show their political stances, reaffirm their running mates' stances, and properly introduce themselves to America.
CBS News announced the debate rules will be similar to the Harris-Trump debate, with the exception of the candidates' mics will not be routinely muted when it's their turn to speak. Moderators will have the ability to do so. The pre-debate broadcast will kick off at 7 on ABC.
In Georgia tonight, thousands of people have been told to stay home with their windows closed after a chemical plant fire on Sunday. The fire caused around 17,000 people to evacuate and has left potentially harmful chlorine in the air. A shelter-in-place advisory is issued for over 90,000 people in Rockdale County, which is around 30 miles east of Atlanta. I-20 reopened today after portions were shut down due to unpredictable wind direction. A nearby hospital also started to move patients to other facilities as a precaution. Officials urged those having medical emergencies to go to a hospital in another county.
Dock workers on the East and Gulf Coast are likely to go on strike tomorrow over a new labor contract, potentially halting activity at some of the busiest ports in the United States. The walkout by members of the International Longshoremen's Association would cost the economy billions of dollars a day.
The ILA has not held a strike on the East and Gulf Coast ports since 1977. President Biden does have the power to use a federal labor law to force the dock workers back to work. However, on Sunday, he said he is not planning to use that power.
Recover from this disaster.
Coming up, we spoke with an SU professor about Hurricane Helene and the effect on the community.
Stem is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
I was in Asheville 6 or 7 years ago. I spent a lot of time. It was a beautiful city. And if you had told me that this place was going to be absolutely devastated by a climate change disaster, I would have been very surprised.
Well, we'll get to our weather in just a moment, but earlier today I sat down with an associate professor, Bob Watson, in the Maxwell School, who specializes in environment and geography studies. He says he spent some time in Asheville, North Carolina, one of the areas heavily flooded by Hurricane Helene. He told me communities are going to have to adjust to these disasters.
And AT&T is selling its majority stake.
Warmer holds more water. It's something you learn in a middle school science class. And so since the temperature is warm, the atmosphere can hold more water. When conditions are right for that water to fall out as rain, it tends to fall in more intense rain events. This is something that we're seeing in the Northeast. One of the main signals of climate change is we're getting more intense rainstorms. This makes it very difficult for communities to deal with water that arrives so quickly.
Yeah, that conversation is so interesting because now, with climate change and everything, inland communities are now having to worry about potential flooding and other issues that come with natural disasters.
Max, really important stuff. Well, I know sometimes these storms that start in the south, they make their way all the way up here. Our Isabella Galan is in studio with weather again. Can we expect to see any of that up here?
Jake, we will not be seeing it up here in Syracuse. However, I do want to talk about some of the Hurricane Helene updates and what we have been seeing so far. It was categorized as a Category 4 hurricane on Thursday and Friday. However, right now it is weakening to a tropical storm and is making its way inland over the southeast. This is the second major hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, and we were seeing peak winds at 60 miles per hour in Myrtle Beach. Now, if we take another look, here is a map of where it started and where it's going to end. So right now we're seeing it started here in the Gulf of Honduras, working its way up to right here where we see it's becoming a Category 4 hurricane, now making its way to the blue, which is a tropical storm in around the area of Kentucky. So we will not be seeing that in Syracuse, but this is what we will be seeing in your 5-day forecast. We're going to be seeing a lot of flip-flopping between the sun, some clouds, and some rain. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Saturday, we're expected to see some partly sunny skies with some clouds. The temperatures are going to stay pretty much in the mid-70s. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, right in the middle, we're going to be seeing some rain. However, that won't be happening all day. It'll be some in the morning, some at night. So it's really just going to be up in the air and something that we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the week, which we will have for you on Live at 6. That's all I have right now. I will have your wake-up weather a little bit later on in the show. Guys.
Isabella, thank you. Well, AT&T is selling its majority stake in DirecTV to private equity firm TPG for around $7.6 billion. AT&T bought DirecTV more than a decade ago for over $48 billion to give the telecom giant a larger base of video subscribers. TPG already owns 30% of DirecTV after a deal with AT&T back in 2021. AT&T's sale of the remaining 70% stake in DirecTV is expected to close in the second half of 2025.
Well, Jake, AT&T was busy today in more DirecTV news. DirecTV is set to buying Dish and Sling to better compete against streaming services. The company will acquire Dish TV and Sling TV from its owner EchoStar in a debt exchange transaction that includes a payment of $1 plus the assumption of debt. DirecTV and Dish had plans to merge almost 2 decades ago, but was blocked by the FCC due to antitrust concerns. Dyer says that the transaction will help it bring smaller content packages to consumers at lower prices.
Syracuse football bounced back in a big way after a rough outing against Stanford, and they're gearing up for their first road trip of the season. Stick around. All that and more coming up next.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Saturday, Syracuse football took care of business in the JMA Wireless Dome, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. Welcome to sports, everyone. I'm Grace Piacco. Cal McCord put on a show, throwing for an impressive 385 yards and 4 touchdown passes, as the Orange took a 42-14 win over Holy Cross. Syracuse jumped to a quick 21-0 lead in the first quarter, but the game wasn't without its challenges. 3 missed field goals attempts kept Holy Cross in the mix longer than expected. However, the Orange held Holy Cross to just 32 yards in the second half. With Syracuse up by 2 touchdowns late in the game, Deuce Chestnut and Jaden Bellamy delivered a crucial 4th and 1 stop deep in Holy Cross territory, setting up LaQuint Allen for his first touchdown of the year. Next up, the Orange hit the road for their first away game of the season against 25th-ranked UNLV, who are off to a strong 4-0 start despite losing their starting quarterback, Matthew Sluka, over an NIL dispute. Turning to lacrosse, the 2024 World Lacrosse Box Championship wrapped up this week in Utica, and Syracuse was well represented on both the men's and women's teams. For the men, Canada claimed gold with a 13-7 win over Team USA, who took home silver. Orange alum Joe White and current standout Joey Spallina both made their mark for Team USA. Spallina finished the tournament with 14 goals and 9 assists, including a goal and assist in the gold medal game. On the women's side, Team USA captured gold, defeating Canada 10-7. Syracuse own Emily Harris-Chuck led the charge with 17 goals and 7 assists throughout the tournament, while Sam Swart chipped in 2 goals and 3 assists. In total, 13 Syracuse current and former players competed across both tournaments. Now shifting gears to the NFL, the Buffalo Bills were riding high after a dominating win over the Miami Dolphins, but Sunday night was a different story as the Bills stumbled against the Baltimore Ravens. The game began slowly for the Buffalo Bills, but the Baltimore Ravens quickly seized the momentum. Derrick Henry made a big impact, breaking off an impressive 87-yard touchdown run on his very first touch, marking Baltimore's longest run in history. The Bills stumbled to find the end zone until the third quarter, but by then it was a little too late. The Ravens ultimately cruised to a 35-10 victory, handing Buffalo their first loss of the season. It was a tough week for New York football fans as the Jets also faced defeat. The Jets struggled in the first half, ultimately failing to the Broncos 10-9. Aaron Rodgers completed 24 out of 42 passes for 225 yards, but was sacked 5 times. On top of that, New York committed 13 penalties throughout the game. Guys, back to you.
Grace, thank you. Across the pond, actor Damian Lewis drove a flock of sheep across the River Thames. Sorry, I can't even read that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to read it to you, and we'll also have your wake-up weather.
We'll be back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Sorry for his fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. Yeah! Oh, I thought you were on my team.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you can expect to see some clouds. It's going to be 61 degrees, feeling like 61 degrees. So those that know me know that I love my hot girl walk. Definitely pack a hoodie if you decide to go on one in the morning, and expect to see some clouds. That's all I got for you guys. Back to you.
hot girl walk.
Bella, you know I love my hot girl walk too. And I know it's Monday, but it's Tuesday in it, Max. Across the pond, actor Damian Lewis drove a flock of sheep across the River Thames in homage to a centuries-old tradition. That sounds kind of awesome. Lewis is one of the thousands of people granted the honorary title of Freeman of the City of London.
In the medieval times, this title came with the right to bring livestock across the river to market without having to pay tolls. That's nice.
What an
honor.
honor.
More than 1,000 freemen participate in the annual London Sheep Drive this Sunday. Participants cross the bridge with herds of sheep while wearing black hats and red cloaks. So it's like we're going back.
How do you think we could make that like Syracuse? Like I'm going to cross the Einhorn walkway with my panda in hand at like a class break and just like say excuse me to no one. The Freeman of Syracuse University.
A lot of weird looks.
That's all the time we have for you on Live at 6 for this Monday.
Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Max Williams.
And I'm Jake Morrell. Have a great night, Syracuse.